The afternoon sun was warm on the park benches when Robert pushed his daughter's wheelchair along the path. It was one of those perfect September days when the air felt crisp and everything seemed to glow golden. 8-year-old Lily sat quietly in her chair, watching the world go by with those big brown eyes that always seemed to notice everything. Robert had cleared his entire afternoon for this. No meetings, no phone calls, nothing. Just him and his daughter at the park. Being a tech company owner meant he was always busy, always rushing somewhere important, but lately he'd noticed something that made his chest hurt. Lily had stopped smiling as much. She'd gotten quieter, more withdrawn. The doctors said it was normal. Kids with cerebral palsy often struggled socially as they got older. They became more aware of their differences. But knowing it was normal didn't make it any easier to watch. They found their usual spot near the fountain. Robert locked the wheelchair wheels and sat down on the bench beside her. Lily watched the water spray up and catch the sunlight, creating tiny rainbows in the mist. For a few minutes, everything was peaceful. Then the music started. A group of teenagers had claimed the pavilion area about 50 yards away. They had a portable speaker and were running through some kind of dance routine. Robert could see them clearly from where they sat. 5 girls, all moving together, their sneakers squeaking on the concrete as they spun and stepped in perfect sync. He glanced at Lily. She wasn't watching the fountain anymore. Her whole attention had shifted to the dancers, her head tilted slightly to the side, the way it always did when something really captured her interest. Her fingers started tapping against the arm of her wheelchair, trying to match the beat. Robert's throat tightened. He knew that look. That was the look of a kid who wanted to join in but knew she couldn't. He'd seen it 100 times before at playgrounds, at birthday parties, at school events. Other kids running and jumping while Lily could only watch from the sidelines. The dance practice continued for about 20 minutes. The girls would run through the routine, stop, argue about someone's timing, then start over again. They were good. Really good. Even Robert, who knew nothing about dancing, could tell they'd been training for years. One girl stood out from the rest. She was taller, maybe 16 or 17, with her hair pulled back in a high ponytail. She moved differently than the others. More fluid somehow. When she danced, it didn't look like she was following steps. It looked like the music was just moving through her body naturally. The group took a water break. 4 of the girls collapsed onto the grass, scrolling through their phones and laughing about something. But the tall girl stayed on her feet. She was looking around the park, and then her eyes landed on Lily. Robert tensed. He'd learned to read people's reactions to his daughter over the years. There was usually pity first, then awkwardness, then they'd look away quickly, pretending they hadn't been staring, but this girl didn't look away. She tilted her head, studying Lily with genuine curiosity. Then she smiled. Not a fake smile, not a pitying smile, a real one. Before Robert could process what was happening, the girl was walking toward them. She had on worn-out sneakers with holes near the toes and a faded t-shirt that had seen better days. But she walked with confidence like she owned the whole park. "Hey," she said, stopping a respectful distance from the wheelchair. She directed her words straight to Lily, not to Robert. That was the first surprise. Most people talked to him about Lily like she wasn't even there. "I saw you watching us dance. You like hip-hop?" Lily's eyes went wide. She nodded, just a small movement, but it was there. "Cool," the girl said, crouching down so she was at Lily's eye level. "I'm Maya, what's your name?" "Lily," his daughter whispered. Her voice was so quiet Robert barely heard it. "Lily, that's pretty." Maya glanced up at Robert for just a second, a quick check to make sure this was okay. He managed a small nod, still not sure where this was going. Maya turned back to Lily. "So I was thinking, you want to learn some moves?" Robert opened his mouth to say something, to explain that Lily couldn't walk, couldn't stand on her own, that dancing wasn't really possible for her. But Lily spoke first. "I can't," she said, and there was so much sadness in those 2 words that Robert wanted to scoop her up and fix everything. "Sure you can," Maya said easily. She stood up and held out her hands. "Watch this." She started moving her hands and arms, creating shapes in the air that matched the beat still playing faintly from the pavilion. "See? Dancing isn't just about your feet. It's about feeling the music in your whole body. Your arms, your shoulders, your head, even your face. Everything can dance." Lily was transfixed. Maya continued the movement, adding in shoulder rolls and head nods. Then she stopped and looked at Lily expectantly. "Your turn." Just move your arms however feels right. There's no wrong way to do it. For a moment, nothing happened. Lily just stared at Maya and Robert held his breath. His daughter was shy on good days. Around strangers, she barely spoke at all. But then, slowly, Lily lifted her right arm. It shook a little, the way it always did. Her muscle control wasn't great, but she moved it side to side, trying to copy what Maya had done. "Yes," Maya said, her whole face lighting up. "That's it. You're a natural. Now add the other one." Lily lifted her left arm. Maya started moving with her, mirroring her movements, turning it into a real dance. And then something incredible happened. Lily smiled. Not a small smile. Not a polite smile. A huge, genuine, lit up from the inside smile that Robert hadn't seen in months. "You've got rhythm," Maya said, laughing. "Okay, let's try adding some shoulder action. Watch me first." For the next hour, Robert sat on that bench and watched a complete stranger give his daughter something he'd been trying to give her for years: joy, belonging, normalcy. Maya never talked down to Lily, never treated her like she was fragile or broken. She pushed her to try new things, celebrated when she got something right, and laughed when they both messed up the timing. She made up moves that Lily could do from her wheelchair, turning limitations into creative choices. Other park visitors walked by and stared. Some smiled. Some looked uncomfortable. Robert didn't care. He was watching his daughter dance for the first time in her life. When Maya's friends finally called her back to finish practice, she high-fived Lily and promised to be at the park tomorrow if Lily wanted to learn more moves. As they drove home that evening, Lily talked non-stop about Maya and dancing and how she couldn't wait to come back tomorrow. She asked if they could please come back every single day. Robert looked at his daughter in the rearview mirror, saw her animated face and bright eyes, and made a decision. He had no idea who Maya was or where she came from, but whoever this girl was, she'd just given his daughter something priceless, and he was going to make sure they came back tomorrow, even if it meant rearranging his entire schedule. Even if it meant missing important meetings, it didn't matter. For the first time in a long time, his daughter was happy. That was worth more than any business deal in the world. Robert kept his promise. The next day, they were back at the park by 3 o'clock. Lily had barely slept the night before, too excited about seeing Maya again. She'd even asked Robert to help her pick out a special outfit, something she'd never cared about before. Maya was already there when they arrived. She was stretching near the pavilion, one leg extended on a bench, her body folded forward in a way that looked almost impossible. When she saw them coming down the path, she jumped up and jogged over. "You came back," Maya said, grinning at Lily. "I was hoping you would. I thought of some new moves we could try today." And just like that, they fell into a routine. Every afternoon for the next week, Robert brought Lily to the park. Every afternoon, Maya was waiting. The other girls in her dance group came and went, but Maya was always there, always ready to spend time with Lily. Robert watched from his bench as his daughter blossomed. Lily laughed more in those few days than she had in the past 6 months combined. She started requesting her favorite songs so Maya could choreograph moves to them. She practiced at home, rolling her wheelchair back and forth in the living room, working on the arm waves and hand gestures Maya had taught her. On the 4th day, Robert decided to learn more about this girl who'd changed his daughter's life. During a water break, he offered to buy Maya a cold drink from the vendor near the parking lot. She hesitated, like she wasn't used to people offering her things, but eventually agreed. As they walked to the cart, Robert asked casual questions. Where did she go to school? How long had she been dancing? Maya answered easily enough. She was 16, a junior at Lincoln High on the east side of the city. She'd been dancing since she was 4 years old. Her mom had enrolled her in classes at the community center, and she'd fallen in love with it immediately. "You're really talented," Robert said, and he meant it. "Do you take classes now? You must train somewhere." Maya's expression shifted. Something closed off in her face. "Not anymore," she said quietly. "I used to go to Pacific Dance Academy. It's this really great school across town, but we had to stop last year." "Had to stop?" Robert asked gently. Maya shrugged, trying to act like it didn't matter. But Robert could see the pain in her eyes. "It got too expensive. My mom works at a grocery store during the day and cleans offices at night. It's just the two of us and my little brother. We couldn't afford the tuition anymore." She forced a smile. It's fine, though. I come here to practice. Keeps me sharp. Robert wanted to ask more questions, but they'd reached the cart. He bought them both cold lemonades and they headed back to where Lily was waiting. The next 3 days, Robert paid closer attention. He noticed things he hadn't seen before. Maya's sneakers weren't just worn out, they were falling apart. The sole on the left one was separating from the shoe. Her dance clothes were clean but faded from too many washings. She brought a water bottle from home instead of buying drinks, and she never ever complained about any of it. But it was more than just noticing her circumstances. Robert started seeing who Maya really was as a person. She wasn't just kind to Lily, she was kind to everyone. When a little kid's ball rolled toward the pavilion during practice, Maya stopped what she was doing to kick it back, then spent 5 minutes teaching the kid some simple dance moves. When an elderly man struggled to open a stuck bench, she jogged over to help him. And the way she was with Lily wasn't an act. Robert had met plenty of people who were nice to his daughter when he was watching, but treated her differently when they thought no one was paying attention. Maya wasn't like that. She genuinely enjoyed spending time with Lily. She talked to her about real things, about school and music and dreams for the future, like Lily was just a regular kid, which was exactly what Lily needed. On the 8th day, Robert arrived at the park early. He'd had a meeting cancel and decided to surprise Lily by picking her up from her afternoon program ahead of schedule. As he walked down the path toward the pavilion, he saw Maya sitting alone on the grass. She had her phone pressed to her ear, and even from a distance Robert could see that something was wrong. He slowed his steps, not wanting to intrude, but Maya's voice carried across the open space. "Mom, please don't cry," Maya was saying. Her own voice was thick with tears. "We'll figure it out. I can get a job. A real one, not just babysitting. I can drop out of school and work full-time." Robert stopped walking entirely. He knew he shouldn't be listening, but he couldn't seem to make himself move away. "I know the insurance won't cover all of it," Maya continued. "But if I'm working, we can make payments or something. There has to be a way." She was quiet for a moment, listening. Then her voice broke completely. "Mom, I can't let anything happen to him. He's only 7. This isn't fair." Robert's stomach twisted. He backed away quietly, not wanting Maya to know he'd overheard. He walked back to his car and sat there for 20 minutes, his mind racing. When enough time had passed, he drove to Lily's program and picked her up, then returned to the park like nothing had happened. Maya was back at the pavilion, stretching. When she saw Lily, she plastered on a huge smile and came bounding over like she didn't have a care in the world. But Robert could see her eyes were red, could see the way her hands shook slightly as she helped Lily with a new routine. That night, after Lily was asleep, Robert sat at his home office desk and thought about what he should do. He had resources, money that could solve Maya's family's problems without him even noticing the expense. But he also knew that pride was a real thing. That offering help to the wrong way could feel insulting, could ruin the pure friendship that had developed between Maya and Lily. He thought about his own daughter, about the gift Maya had given her. Confidence, joy, a sense of belonging she'd never had before. Lily's physical therapist had even called him yesterday to say she'd noticed remarkable improvement. Lily was more engaged in therapy, trying harder, pushing herself further. All because a teenager in worn-out shoes had taken the time to see his daughter as a person instead of a disability. The next morning, Robert made some phone calls. He had an assistant who was good at finding information discreetly. By noon, he knew more about Maya's situation. Her name was Maya Rodriguez. Her mother, Carmen, worked 2 jobs like Maya had said. Her little brother, Danny, had just been diagnosed with a serious kidney condition. The treatment he needed was partially covered by insurance, but the family would still be responsible for over $60,000 in medical bills, an impossible amount for a single mother working 2 minimum wage jobs. Robert also learned that Maya hadn't just attended Pacific Dance Academy. She'd been one of their most promising students. Multiple instructors had told his assistant that Maya had the potential to dance professionally if she continued training. They'd been heartbroken when she had to leave. He learned that Maya maintained perfect grades despite everything, that she volunteered at a community center on weekends, teaching free dance classes to younger kids, that she'd once performed at a regional competition and placed first in her category. This wasn't just a kind teenager. This was an exceptional young person who deserved every opportunity in the world. On the 10th day of their park meetings, Robert made a decision. He couldn't just watch anymore. He couldn't let Maya sacrifice her education and her dreams while she'd given his daughter so much. It was time to do something, but he needed to do it right. He needed to approach this in a way that respected Maya and her mother, that didn't make them feel like charity cases or like they owed him something. As he watched Maya and Lily dance together that afternoon, both of them laughing at some private joke, Robert started forming a plan. He just hoped they'd let him help. Robert spent 2 days figuring out exactly what to say. He'd written speeches for boardrooms full of investors, convinced banks to loan him millions, negotiated deals worth more than most people would see in a lifetime, but asking a struggling family to accept help turned out to be the hardest conversation he'd ever had to prepare for. He couldn't just show up and throw money at the problem. That would be insulting, degrading even. Carmen Rodriguez was working 2 jobs to support her family with dignity. The last thing she needed was some wealthy stranger making her feel small. Finally, Robert decided on honesty. Simple, straightforward honesty. He asked Maya if she and her mother could meet him at a coffee shop downtown on Saturday morning. Maya looked nervous when he asked, but she agreed. Robert could see the worry in her eyes, like maybe she'd done something wrong. He quickly assured her that everything was fine, that he just wanted to talk to them about something important. Saturday came too quickly. Robert arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early and claimed a quiet table in the corner. He ordered 3 coffees and a hot chocolate, not knowing what anyone liked, and waited. Maya arrived first, wearing jeans and a clean t-shirt that looked too big for her. Probably a hand-me-down or something from a thrift store. She looked around the coffee shop like she didn't quite belong there, and Robert's heart ached a little. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from him. "My mom's parking the car. She'll be here in a minute." "Thanks for coming," Robert said. "I know this is probably strange." "A little," Maya admitted. "But Lily talks about you all the time when we're dancing. Says you're the best dad in the world, so I figured you must be okay." Before Robert could respond, the door opened and a woman walked in. She was small, maybe 5'2", with Maya's same dark eyes and determined expression. She looked tired in a way that went deeper than just lack of sleep. This was someone who'd been tired for years. Carmen Rodriguez walked to their table with her shoulders back and her chin up. "Proud despite everything." "Mr. Chen," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Carmen, Maya's mother." Robert stood and shook her hand. "Please call me Robert. Thank you so much for meeting me. Can I get you something to drink?" Carmen eyed the coffees already on the table. "I'm fine, thank you." They all sat down. Maya looked between her mother and Robert, clearly confused about what was happening. Carmen's expression was guarded, protective. Robert knew he needed to get this right. "I'll get straight to the point," Robert said. "Over the past 2 weeks, Maya has done something incredible for my daughter. Lily has cerebral palsy and she's struggled socially for years. She's felt different, isolated, but Maya changed that. Your daughter gave Lily confidence and joy. She treated her like a regular kid, and that's made all the difference in the world." Maya shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "I just danced with her. It wasn't a big deal." "It was a huge deal," Robert said firmly. "Lily's physical therapist said she's shown more improvement in these 2 weeks than in the previous 6 months. She's trying harder, engaging more, pushing herself, all because Maya made her feel capable." Carmen's expression softened slightly, but her guard stayed up. "That's very kind of you to say." "It's not kindness, it's fact," Robert said. He took a breath. "A few days ago, I accidentally overheard Maya on the phone. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard enough to know that your family is going through something difficult. Something medical involving Maya's brother." Maya's face flushed red. Carmen's jaw tightened. "I'm not here to invade your privacy," Robert continued quickly. "And I'm not here to make you feel uncomfortable, but I am here to ask if I can help." "We don't need charity," Carmen said, her voice sharp. "We take care of ourselves." "I know you do," Robert said. "I can see that clearly. You're raising an exceptional daughter while working 2 jobs. That takes strength most people don't have. But this isn't about charity. It's about fairness," Carmen frowned. "Fairness?" Robert nodded. "Maya has been working for me for 2 weeks. She's been teaching my daughter, helping with her physical development, improving her quality of life. That's valuable work. Professional therapeutic recreation specialists charge hundreds of dollars an hour for what Maya's been doing naturally. But I haven't paid her anything. She was just being nice," Maya said quietly. "I didn't do it for money." "I know," Robert said. which is exactly why you deserve to be compensated. You've been providing a professional service without asking for anything in return. That's not right. He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket and placed it on the table. Carmen stared at it like it might explode. This is back pay for the work Maya's already done, Robert said. And I'd like to hire her officially as Lily's adaptive recreation companion. 3 afternoons a week, 2 hours each session. I'll pay $25 an hour. Maya's eyes went wide. That's a lot of money. It's less than professional therapists charge, Robert said honestly. You're providing specialized care and genuine connection. You're worth every penny. Carmen hadn't touched the envelope. Why are you really doing this? Robert met her eyes. Because when you have resources, you have a responsibility to use them well, and because Maya gave my daughter something I couldn't buy at any price. I want to do the same for your family. We're not a charity project, Carmen said again, but her voice had less edge this time. You're not, Robert agreed. This is a job offer. Maya works, Maya gets paid. Simple as that, he paused. But there's more I want to discuss, and I need you to hear me out before you say no. Carmen crossed her arms. I'm listening. Robert chose his next words carefully. I know about your son's medical situation. I know about the bills you're facing. And I know that Maya had to leave Pacific Dance Academy because of tuition costs. He held up a hand when Carmen started to speak. Let me finish, please. Carmen pressed her lips together but nodded. Here's what I'd like to propose, Robert said. I want to cover your son's medical expenses. All of them. Everything insurance doesn't pay. No, Carmen said immediately. Absolutely not. Please, just listen, Robert said. I also want to pay for Maya to return to Pacific Dance Academy. Not as a gift, but as an investment. Because your daughter has real talent. Multiple instructors told me she has the potential to dance professionally. That kind of talent shouldn't be wasted because of circumstances beyond anyone's control. Maya had tears in her eyes. You talked to my old instructors? I did some research, Robert admitted. I wanted to understand what your family was facing. And what I found was remarkable. Perfect grades, volunteer work, natural teaching ability, professional-level dance skill. Maya, you're exceptional. You deserve every opportunity to develop your gifts. We can't accept this, Carmen said, but her voice shook. It's too much. We'd never be able to pay you back. I don't want you to pay me back, Robert said. I want you to pay it forward. Someday when you're in a position to help someone else, you do it. That's the only payment I need. Maya was crying openly now. Carmen's eyes were wet too, though she was fighting hard to keep her composure. Why? Carmen whispered. Why would you do this for people you barely know? Robert thought about the past 2 weeks. About watching his daughter come alive. About seeing her laugh and dance and feel normal for the first time in so long. Because Maya saw my daughter when other people only saw a wheelchair, he said simply. She saw a kid who wanted to dance and found a way to make it happen. That kind of kindness is rare. It should be celebrated, not ignored. The table fell silent. Carmen stared at the envelope, then at her daughter, then back at Robert. I need to think about this, she finally said. Of course, Robert said. Take all the time you need. But please at least take the envelope. That's payment for work already done. Maya earned it. Slowly, Carmen reached out and picked up the envelope. Her hands trembled slightly as she held it. Thank you, she whispered. Robert smiled. Thank you for raising such an incredible daughter. As they left the coffee shop, Robert watched them through the window. Carmen pulled Maya into a tight hug right there on the sidewalk. Both of them were crying. And Robert realized he'd just experienced something that no amount of money could buy, the chance to make a real difference in someone's life. Carmen called Robert 3 days later. Her voice was steady but emotional when she said yes. She'd accept the job offer for Maya. She'd accept help with Danny's medical bills. And she'd let Maya return to the dance academy. But she had one condition. She wanted to work off the debt somehow. She couldn't just take money without giving something back. Robert understood. Pride wasn't something you could argue away, so they worked out an arrangement. Carmen would help coordinate a project Robert had been thinking about since that first day at the park. Something bigger than just helping one family. He wanted to create a foundation, an organization that provided arts education for kids with disabilities. Dance, music, art, theater, all the things that helped children express themselves and feel included. He'd fund it. But he needed people who understood the community. People with real experience, not just good intentions. Carmen had grown up in a working-class neighborhood. She knew the families who struggled to afford basic needs, let alone special programs for their kids. She could help identify children who needed these services most. She could be the bridge between Robert's resources and the community that needed them. It wasn't charity. It was a real role, and Carmen threw herself into it completely. Within 2 months, everything changed. Danny started his treatment at the best children's hospital in the state. The doctors were optimistic. His condition was serious but treatable, and with the right care, he'd be okay. Maya returned to Pacific Dance Academy in September. Her instructors welcomed her back like she'd never left. Within weeks, she was training with the advanced group again, working toward performances and competitions. But she still came to the park 3 times a week to work with Lily, just like she'd promised. The sessions evolved into something more structured. Maya created actual lesson plans. She researched adaptive dance techniques and brought in music that matched Lily's energy levels on different days. She was a natural teacher, and Lily blossomed under her guidance. But what happened next was something Robert never expected. It started small. Maya was at the park working with Lily one afternoon when another parent approached them. Her daughter, about 10 years old, was in a wheelchair too. She'd been watching from a distance for weeks. "Excuse me," the mother said nervously. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but would you ever consider teaching my daughter too?" "I'd pay you, of course." Maya looked surprised. She glanced at Lily, who grinned and nodded enthusiastically. "I don't see why not," Maya said. "The more the merrier, right?" Word spread quickly after that. Within a month, Maya had 6 students with various disabilities coming to the park for adaptive dance lessons. Some were in wheelchairs. Others had autism or Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. Each one had different needs and different abilities. Maya treated every single child like they were capable of greatness. She modified moves, created new techniques, and never once made anyone feel limited, and the kids loved her for it. Robert watched this unfold with growing amazement. What had started as one teenager being kind to his daughter had turned into something much larger. Maya wasn't just helping Lily anymore. She was creating a community. That's when Robert's bigger idea took shape. He'd been planning the foundation anyway, but now he had the perfect person to help build it. Someone who understood adaptive arts education from the inside. Someone the kids already trusted and loved. He approached Maya and Carmen with a proposal. He wanted to make this official. He'd create a proper adaptive arts foundation with real funding, professional space, trained instructors. And he wanted Maya to be involved from the beginning. Not as a volunteer or a student, but as a founding youth director. Her job would be to help design programs, train other instructors in adaptive techniques, and work directly with kids. Obviously, she couldn't do it full-time while finishing high school and dancing. But she could commit 10 hours a week, and she'd be paid a real salary for real work. Maya cried when he explained the plan. "You're serious? You want me to help run an actual foundation?" "You're already doing it," Robert pointed out. "You've got 6 kids coming to the park every week. You're teaching them, encouraging them, making them feel included. That's exactly what this foundation needs. Your perspective, your methods, your heart." Carmen sat beside her daughter, tears streaming down her face. "Mija, this is your dream. Teaching and dancing, both together." "I know," Maya whispered. "I just can't believe it's real." But it was real. Robert filed the paperwork within 2 weeks. The foundation officially launched 3 months later, with Maya as the founding youth program director. They rented space at a community center in Maya's neighborhood, somewhere accessible to families who couldn't afford expensive programs. Maya recruited other teenagers she knew. Kids from her high school who had talents to share. Dancers, musicians, artists. She trained them in adaptive techniques, teaching them how to modify activities for different abilities, how to see potential instead of limitations. The program exploded. Within 6 months, they had 40 children enrolled. Within a year, they'd expanded to include music therapy, art classes, and adaptive sports. Local news channels came to film the classes. Parents shared their stories on social media. Donations poured in from people who'd never even met Robert or Maya, but were inspired by what they were building. And through it all, Maya never forgot where it started. She still worked with Lily 3 times a week. They were more than teacher and student now. They were real friends. Lily had changed too. She was more confident, more outgoing. She made friends at the foundation classes. She performed in the year-end showcase, doing a routine she and Maya had choreographed together. When she finished, the entire audience stood and cheered. Robert had never been more proud in his entire life. But the moment that really shocked everyone came at the Foundation's first annual gala. It was a fundraising event to help expand the programs. Robert had invited donors, community leaders, and local media. The goal was to raise money and awareness. Maya was supposed to give a short speech thanking everyone for their support. She walked up to the microphone in a simple black dress, looking nervous but determined. Robert sat at a table near the front with Lily, both of them ready to support her. Maya started with the expected thank yous. She talked about the Foundation's mission and the kids they'd helped. Then she said something that made Robert's chest tighten. "A year ago I thought my dreams were over," Maya said, her voice carrying through the room. "My family was struggling. My little brother was sick. I'd had to quit the dance academy I loved. I was ready to drop out of school to work full-time. I felt hopeless," she paused, looking directly at Robert. "Then I met a little girl at the park who just wanted to dance. And through her I met her father, who saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself anymore. Robert didn't just help my family financially. He reminded me that my dreams still mattered, that I had something valuable to offer the world." The room was completely silent. Maya's voice grew stronger. "So tonight I want to do something. I've been saving my paychecks from the Foundation, and I've been teaching private dance lessons on the side. I've put together some money and I want to create a scholarship fund." Robert sat up straighter. He hadn't known about this. "It's not a lot," Maya continued. "Just $5,000 to start. But I want to create a scholarship fund at my old high school for students who can't afford arts education, because I know what it feels like to have talent but no opportunity. And if someone could help me, then I need to help others." The room erupted in applause, but Maya wasn't finished. "And I'm asking others to join me. If you believe in this cause, donate to the scholarship fund. Help other kids like me who just need a chance." By the end of the night, Maya's $5,000 scholarship fund had grown to over $50,000. People were inspired by her story, by her gratitude, by her immediate desire to pay it forward instead of keeping everything for herself. Robert watched it all unfold with wonder. He'd thought he was helping Maya, but she'd taken that help and multiplied it, creating ripples that spread far beyond what he'd ever imagined. After the gala ended and most people had left, Maya found Robert and Lily near the exit. "Thank you," she said simply. "For everything," Robert shook his head. "You did this, Maya, all of it. I just opened a door. You walked through it and built something beautiful on the other side." Maya hugged Lily tight. "We built it together," she said. "All three of us." And as Robert drove home that night with his sleeping daughter in the back seat, he realized something profound. He'd spent his whole life building a tech company, making money, achieving success. But nothing he'd ever done felt as meaningful as what had started with a simple moment in the park. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest changes. You just have to pay attention and be willing to help when the opportunity appears. 2 years passed like a beautiful dream that kept getting better. The Foundation grew beyond anything Robert had imagined. They'd expanded to 3 locations across the city. Over 200 children with disabilities were enrolled in various programs: dance, music, art, theater, even adaptive sports. Each program was designed and led by instructors who understood that every child had unique abilities worth celebrating. Maya graduated high school with highest honors. She'd been accepted to 5 different universities, all offering scholarships. But she chose to stay local, enrolling in a dual program where she could study special education and continue dancing professionally. She wanted both worlds, teaching and performing, helping kids and pursuing her own dreams. Her scholarship fund had grown too. What started as $5,000 was now over $200,000, thanks to continued donations and fundraising events. 15 students from underserved communities had received full scholarships for arts programs. 3 of them had gone on to study at prestigious performing arts colleges. Danny was healthy. The treatment had worked perfectly, and now he was an energetic 9-year-old who loved soccer and video games. He volunteered at the Foundation sometimes, helping set up equipment and playing with the younger kids. Carmen had quit her night cleaning job and now worked full-time as the Foundation's community outreach coordinator. But the biggest change was in Lily. She was 10 now, confident and happy in ways that seemed impossible just 2 years ago. She performed regularly at Foundation showcases. She had real friends, kids who saw her for who she was instead of focusing on her wheelchair. She'd even started a blog about living with cerebral palsy, sharing her experiences to help other kids feel less alone. And through everything, Maya never stopped being her friend and teacher. Even with college classes and her own dance rehearsals and foundation responsibilities, Maya still showed up 3 times a week to work with Lily. Some things were too important to let go. The foundation's second annual gala was bigger than the first. Over 500 people attended. Local celebrities, business leaders, politicians. Even the mayor came and gave a speech about inclusive programming and community support. But the highlight of the evening wasn't any speech or presentation. It was the performance. Maya had choreographed something special. A dance piece that would feature both professional dancers from her academy and children from the foundation. Kids in wheelchairs, kids with prosthetic limbs, kids with Down syndrome, kids with autism, all dancing together in one unified performance. The concept was simple but powerful. There were no modifications or special accommodations highlighted. No separation between the professional dancers and the kids. Everyone moved together, each person contributing their own unique style and ability to create something beautiful. Lily was part of the performance. She'd been practicing for 3 months, working on her sections with Maya until every movement was perfect. Robert had watched her practice at home, rolling through the living room over and over, determined to get it exactly right. Now, sitting in the audience as the lights dimmed, Robert felt his heart pounding. This was it. Everything they'd built over the past 2 years was about to be showcased in front of hundreds of people. The music started. Soft at first, then building. Dancers emerged from the wings. Maya led them, moving with that fluid grace that had first caught Lily's attention at the park so long ago. Behind her came the children, each one focused and ready. Lily rolled onto the stage in her wheelchair, her face glowing with concentration and joy. What happened next was pure magic. The dancers moved together in perfect harmony. When Maya spun, Lily spun her wheelchair in synchronized circles. When the other kids jumped, the children who couldn't jump created their own movements that matched the energy and intention. Every person on that stage was equal. Every person mattered. The audience sat in stunned silence, completely transfixed. This wasn't a charity showcase where people clapped politely for disabled kids trying their best. This was real art. Beautiful, professional, emotionally powerful art. Midway through the performance, Maya and Lily had a duet section. Just the two of them on stage, moving together the way they'd done hundreds of times in the park. But this time, with professional lighting and a full audience, everyone could see what Robert had seen from the beginning. The genuine connection, the pure joy, the friendship that had started everything. When Lily executed a particularly difficult arm sequence perfectly, hitting every beat with precision, Robert felt tears streaming down his face. His daughter was dancing. Really dancing. Not as a disabled kid doing her best, as a dancer. Period. The performance ended with all the dancers frozen in a final pose. For a moment, the room was completely silent. Then someone stood up. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, the entire audience was on their feet, applauding wildly. People were crying openly. The ovation lasted over 5 minutes. The dancers took their bows together. Maya made sure every child was acknowledged equally. When Lily rolled forward for her bow, the crowd somehow got even louder. Backstage afterward, the energy was electric. Kids were hugging each other, high on adrenaline and success. Parents were crying happy tears. The professional dancers from the academy were telling the foundation kids how amazing they'd been. Maya found Robert in the crowd. She was still in her costume, her face flushed with excitement. "Did you see her?" she asked, grabbing his arm. "Did you see how perfect Lily was?" "I saw," Robert said, his voice thick with emotion. "Maya, that was incredible. All of it." "We did it," Maya said, grinning. "We actually did it. We showed everyone that these kids are real performers. Not charity cases. Real artists." A reporter approached them, camera crew in tow. "Excuse me, are you Maya Rodriguez? The youth director who choreographed tonight's performance?" Maya nodded, suddenly looking shy. "Yes, that's me." "That was extraordinary," the reporter said. "Can we interview you for the evening news? People need to hear about this program." The interview aired that night. Then it got picked up by national news channels. By the next morning, the video of the performance had been shared thousands of times on social media. By the end of the week, it had gone viral. Millions of people had watched Lily and the other children dance alongside professional performers. The comment section was full of people crying, people inspired, people sharing their own stories about disabilities and inclusion. Organizations from other cities reached out asking how they could replicate the program. Donations flooded in from across the country. A national talk show invited Maya to appear as a guest. She brought Lily with her. They sat on the couch together, Maya in a nice dress and Lily in her wheelchair, and talked about how their friendship had started in a park 2 years ago. "I just saw a kid who wanted to dance," Maya told the host. "I didn't see a disability. I saw someone who loved music and wanted to move. That's all it took." The host turned to Lily. "And how has dancing changed your life?" Lily thought for a moment. "It made me feel normal," she said simply. "Not special needs or disabled or different. Just normal. Just a kid who loves to dance," the audience applauded. The host wiped her eyes. The segment ended with footage of the gala performance, and millions of people watched it in their living rooms across America. But for Robert, the most important moment came a few weeks later. It was just a regular afternoon at the foundation. No cameras, no reporters, no big events. Just kids taking classes and having fun. He was walking through the building when he passed one of the dance studios. Through the window, he saw Maya teaching a new student, a little boy, maybe 6 years old, who'd just started using a wheelchair after an accident. He looked scared and sad, like he thought his life was over. Maya was kneeling beside him, showing him how to move his arms to the music, the same way she'd done with Lily that first day in the park. And slowly the little boy started to smile, started to move, started to realize that maybe things weren't as hopeless as they seemed. Robert stood there watching, and he understood something profound. This was never about him being a hero or saving anyone. This was about recognizing kindness when he saw it and giving it room to grow. Maya had been kind to Lily without expecting anything in return. Robert had helped Maya's family in gratitude. Maya had taken that help and used it to create opportunities for hundreds of other kids. Those kids would grow up and help others. Those others would help even more. Kindness multiplied. That was the real miracle. One moment of compassion in a park had created ripples that would spread for generations. That evening, as Robert picked up Lily from the foundation, she was chattering excitedly about a new routine Maya was teaching her. She was happy, healthy, thriving. "Dad," she said as they drove home, "do you remember that first day when Maya danced with me at the park?" "Of course I do," Robert said. "I thought it was just going to be that one time," Lily said quietly. "I thought she'd dance with me once and then forget about me like most people do." But she didn't forget. She came back every day. She kept her promise. "She did," Robert agreed. "I want to be like that," Lily said. "When I grow up, I want to help people the way Maya helped me. I want to keep my promises and make people feel important." Robert smiled, his heart full. "You already do that, sweetheart." Every single day, and it was true. The ripples kept spreading. From one teenager in worn-out shoes to one little girl in a wheelchair to hundreds of families whose lives had been changed forever. All because someone chose kindness, and someone else chose to support that kindness. And together they created something beautiful that would last long after they were gone. That was the real miracle. Not money or fame or recognition. Just simple human kindness, multiplied by love and opportunity, creating waves of change that touched countless lives. And it all started with a dance in the park.